Welcome to Pastor's Chat today. We're looking at Joshua chapter 7. Yesterday we talked about Achan's sin. He said, I saw, I coveted, and I took, and then I hid those goods under my tent. Well, my friend, not only did Achan sin, but Israel had sinned according to this chapter, and God was holding the whole nation accountable for this one man's sin. And yet at the same time, there are some other sins we dare not overlook in this chapter that you and I face every day. But first, before I mention those sins, let me give you a word of encouragement. Satan is never too strong for you and for me when we are in the full armor of God and fully depending upon Him and His grace and His strength to face the battles for the day. That's the proof that we find from Jericho. Jericho, as big as it was not too big for God. No giant is too big for God when we put our faith, our trust, our hope solely upon Him for the victory. The victory will be miraculous. It will be the Lord's. We don't need 30,000 men to defeat Midian. We don't need 10,000, oh goodness, with 300 men. Gideon could defeat the Midianites. Why? Because God was with them in the battle and gave them the instructions. When we follow God's instruction book, we can face Satan, the battles, and any difficulties in our life. But when we get careless, when we get prayerless, when we get presumptive, we find out we're going to take a fall. Before a great defeat, there was a great victory. But after the great victory, a great defeat. And let's read about it, because it says here in Joshua chapter 7, Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai. Some of his men, just like he spied out the land, he sends some spies ahead, like any good general would. And then they go up there and they come back and say to Joshua, oh, we don't need everyone to go out. Just 2,000 or 3,000 men can go out and attack Ai. We don't need to weary everyone, for the people of Ai are few. And so Joshua just listened to them, sent out 3,000 men to fight, and the soldiers to fight, and they were defeated, and 36 of them got killed. They come running down the hill like scared rabbits, and Joshua falls on his face and cries out to God, oh God, what have we done? What is wrong? We should have stayed over on the other side of the Jordan. My friend, let me just give you now a warning. You see, the sin of all sins, the father of all sins, the sin that gives birth to every sin, is the sin of pride. These people had a great victory and forgot immediately almost it was God that gave them the victory, and said, hey, we can defeat Ai without praying, without seeking God's face. Because, you know, if Joshua maybe would have prayed first, God would have already said, Joshua, don't go into this battle. There's some sin in the camp that needs to be taken care of. But no, he just sent the men in. They get defeated. And now he's praying, and God's saying, hey, listen, there's sin in the camp that has to be taken care of. You see, the sin of carelessness is there in our lives when we decide to do it our way. The sin of pride, that was the sin of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. You will be like God, Satan tempted Eve, knowing good and evil. But my friend, realize there's no temptation, no sin, nothing that can come our way. But God first knows that we would have the strength to overcome it if we follow and trust Him and believe in Him. The sin of pride leads to the sin of carelessness, leads to the sin of prayerlessness, leads to the sin of presuming that you can do it without God. But let a man take heed when he thinketh he standeth, lest he fall. And it says in Proverbs 16, verse 18, pride comes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Oh, it was not only Achan that sinned, the whole nation of Israel sinned when they decided they could do it without God. My friend, we can't do it without God. We got to get up in the morning, put on the whole armor of God, fall on our face before Him every day, every day, every day we need Him. There's not one day we don't need Him. Oh, give us this day our daily bread. Today lead us not into temptation. Today deliver us from the evil one. May we make sure we're praying today and not getting careless. Well, God bless you, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day.